Hello, everybody. Welcome to the War Room. And I hope you have your cocktail ready. Cocktails in the War Room every night at 8:30, right here in the War Room in my house. With my Muppet glass tonight. How are you guys doing? Obviously, no technical difficulties tonight. For some reason, Facebook Live just was being a little temperamental last night, but tonight, working like a charm. So every night at 8:30, we kind of get together, rehash the day, go over everything that's gone on, check in, buddy check each other, make sure that we're all handling this social distancing and essential, non-essential workers properly. Everybody's starting to go a little cuckoo crazy in the head at home. I know I am a little bit. I dusted my entire house today, all of it. When you have a wood stove, you know how dusty your house can get in the middle of the winter when you've been burning wood all winter. And my house was very dusty and it was disgusting. And Wednesday was no help. So that's how I spent my day. So how are you guys doing? How was your day today? I love it. Jenny noticed retro shirts, retro glasses. Yeah. So I dug out my retro Great Muppet Caper glass from my Fernandez Sangria night number 2. Yesterday I told you that I cleaned out my closet and went through all of my old concert shirts. And so I dug this one out tonight. Take a look at this bad boy. This is Soundgarden from 1994. And on the back, it has all of the cities where the band played. And it's like Seattle and, you know, big city, big city, big city. And right in the middle of the shirt, Fitchburg. Yes! They played the Wallace Civic Center in 94. And I believe that was one of the first things that I drove the AAF van to when I got a job on the street team. So this is my Soundgarden shirt from 1994, which is very cool. So yes, retro glasses. These are one of the collectible McDonald's glasses that you used to be able to get with like the Happy Meals back in the 70s with the Muppets. I have 4 of them. Oh, that sangria is so good. So lots to talk about today. Tonight, the first thing we're going to do is cheers the parents. Hey, parents. The governor announced that the kids aren't going back to school till May 4th. Cheers. I don't know what's going on in the rest of New England, and depending on where you're at right now, where you're watching these videos, but as of right now, the school kids in Massachusetts aren't going back to school until at least May 4th. So parents, you better start hoping they deliver wine via FedEx because you're going to be stuck in the house for a while. A couple other things. The guys from Gray Days, that's the band that Chester Bennington was in before Linkin Park. And Chester, before he passed away, had reached out to those guys about working on the music that they had worked on together. And so obviously after he passed away, they wanted to put the record together. So they re-recorded all the music, used Chester's original vocals, and put the album together. And we were playing some of it at AAF. Well, they've announced that their album isn't going to come out until June. But there's some really good stuff on it, so you definitely want to check that out. And that's spelled Greydaze, Gray Days, if you want to Google it later. Let's see. On Sunday, there is going to be a commercial-free iHeart Living Room concert in place of the iHeart Music Awards that's going to be hosted by Elton John. Performances are going to include Alicia Keys, the Backstreet Boys, Billie Eilish, Billie Joe Armstrong from Green Day, Mariah Carey, and Tim McGraw, and that's going to be on Sunday night at 9 o'clock on Fox if you're looking to watch something. Speaking of Elton John, if today is your birthday, we always like to cheers everybody that's celebrating their birthday in solitude. Elton John and Aretha Franklin were born on this date, so happy birthday if it's your birthday too. You got rock and roll royalty on your side. Thank you guys for all of the amazing quarantine names that you put up in the comments last night. There were too many of them for me to go and repeat. But if you missed it, go to last night's video and read through the comments. And your quarantine name was how you feel right now and the last thing you ate. And last night, I believe I was Buzzed Pringles. Today I'm pretty happy steak salad. Not as much fun, I don't think. Something of that's sangria in my lungs, not the corona. If you're looking for something educational to watch with the kids, this is really cool. Every day, the crew of Old Ironsides, the USS Constitution, are doing Facebook Live virtual tours of the ship. And you can go on the USS Constitution's Facebook page, and they've got sailors that are going through the ship giving a virtual tour. So I don't know if that would count towards your kid's history lesson for the day, but it's pretty cool. I watched the one they did today, and it was awesome. Today is also National Medal of Honor Day. The first medal was given out on this date in 1863. I showed you this book, I think last week, as one of the things I had in the war room. And I wanted to show it to you again because I only showed you the case. So this is the 150th anniversary Medal of Honor book. And it was actually gifted to me by Ken Stumpf, who is a recipient from Vietnam. His son actually used to listen to my show all the time online. And his dad, Ken Stumpf, the recipient, got a copy of the book for me and took it to the Medal of Honor convention and had it autographed by a bunch of recipients. And then they, so his son Adrian sent me this whole letter with all of the recipients, including Mr. Woody Williams, who is a legend. If you don't know who Woody Williams is, just Google Woody Williams flamethrower and you will see what a big badass that guy is. I actually met him at the Boston Wounded Vet Run last year, an absolute honor. And there were a bunch of other recipients that signed it for me, all the way from World War II in Korea through Vietnam, and then even some more recent War on Terror recipients. But I just thought it was an amazing book, and each page has the story of the recipient and a picture from their younger days, and then the picture of them today. So this is who gifted me the book, Ken Stumpf, and he signed it for me. And so if Adrian's watching these videos, or even if Mr. Stumpf is watching these videos, I love the book. I show it off every time somebody comes in the house in the war room. And excuse me, sangria in the lungs. And I just wanted to show it to you, especially today, because it is National Medal of Honor Day. So obviously to all of the recipients and all of the loved ones of any past recipients, just thank you. It's the only thing that you can say, and it obviously, will just never be enough with what you have to do to earn that medal. When I was younger, I thought that it was kind of a glamorous thing. When I was a kid, I didn't know, and I thought, ooh, the Medal of Honor, like if I got that, I would never take it off. And having been fortunate enough to meet several recipients and kind of hear them speak and tell their stories, so many of them have talked about the burden, because the medal commemorates, for most of them, if not all, the worst day of their life. And so it's just a heavy burden to carry. And so many of them, including local recipient Ryan Pitts from New Hampshire, I heard him speak once, and he talked about how he wears it in tribute to those that are no longer with us. And just a really powerful medal, and the stories of the recipients. That book is just filled with them. It's just amazing. I started working on my resume today. I have not had an actual resume since 1997, when I applied to be Opie and Anthony's producers. And I figured, I better get one because I'm kind of in the market for a job. And as I started sitting down, just making lists of things that, you want to go in a job search, and I started looking at resume templates, just trying to figure out how I wanted to structure my template and my resume. And I started laughing, trying to describe some of the things that we did at AAF and how I would describe them in business jargon to put them on a resume. So if you come up with any good ones, any suggestions that I could put on my resume about describing certain things, feel free to comment in the comments of this video, because it was very strange to try and figure out how to translate my job duties at WAF into a working resume that might actually get me a job somewhere. So that was kind of how I spent half my day, and then I spent the other half of the day dusting because the house was very dusty. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to talk about REM drummer Bill Rieflin. It was announced today that he passed away after a battle with cancer at the age of 59. And we talked about it the other night. Losing a loved one at this time, when you can't put a wake and a funeral together and have, a proper celebration of life and services, just has just got to be so awful. And so for all of the people that are losing loved ones, whether it be to natural causes or, in Bill Rieflin's case from cancer, it's just devastating for families to not be able to mourn the loss of their loved ones right now. And so my heart goes out to everyone that is dealing with illness and loss in their families, because it's never easy. But this whole situation with, the sheltering and, well, not sheltering in place in Massachusetts, but the social distancing and everything is just going to make the grieving process near impossible. The Library of Congress announced the National Recording Registry entries for 2020. So within the Library of Congress, there is the National Recording Registry, and every year they select 25 recordings that are then entered into the Library of Congress to be protected forever. That's how culturally important they are, that the Library of Congress wants to make sure that they are preserved and protected forever. In the list of songs that will now be in the Library of Congress, YMCA, Tina Turner's Private Dancer, Dr. Dre's The Chronic is now in the Library of Congress National Recording Registry. The theme song for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is in there. And that song, Hello Mutta, Hello Fata, that song is in there. And then the Boston Symphony Orchestra, I thought this was really interesting. The Boston Symphony Orchestra got put into the National Recording Registry today for their 1963 WGBH broadcast on the day of the JFK assassination. The BSO did a performance, they aired it live, and that recording was put into the National Recording Registry. And also Whitney Houston's version of I Will Always Love You, and Cheap Trick's Live at the Budokan, which is a fantastic live album. Those are all in there now, which is very cool. I also want to say way to go to the guys from Shinedown. The other day we talked about the song that it was kind of a leftover song that they had from the Amaryllis recordings. So Shinedown put a new song out and released a t-shirt that they put up for download and for sale to help raise money for direct relief. Well, they announced that in 36 hours, the guys from Shinedown raised $70,000, which they then used to buy N95 masks. And they have pictures of the masks that they were able to purchase up on their Instagram and their social media. And some of the cities that they sent masks to, this is the guys from Shinedown, they went to Santa Barbara, Seattle, San Diego, New York City, Los Angeles, and Boston, which I just thought was amazing. And so I want to thank the guys from Shinedown again for always sending love back to Boston, which is just cool. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys, because you've been locked in the house, there are a lot of divorce attorneys that are speculating when things get back to normal after the coronavirus has kind of subsided, that divorce rates are going to skyrocket. And I started thinking, because, I'm kind of in the house by myself, that if I were locked in the house with someone else, what kind of fights would we be getting into? And you've got to have some good ones of some ridiculous, idiotic fights that you guys are having just because you haven't spent this much quality time together in a really long time, especially if, say, you're both working from home and you're fighting over office space. So if you got some stupid, lockdown fights, you got to put those in the comment section too, because we all go through these comments afterwards and kind of read through everything every night. I know I do. I spend like an hour after we get done with this video and just read through the hilarious stuff that you guys are putting in there. So Please do that. I also, my niece put a meme up on Facebook today that said something about were dirty pickle martinis a thing? Meaning, instead of using olive juice, could you use pickle juice and put that in with vodka and make a martini out of it? Because I am not an olive lover, and so therefore I don't really love martinis, but I love pickles. And is this a thing? Because I went digging through the bartender's book that I've been digging in every night, and I couldn't find it. So if there are bartenders watching this video, if pickle martinis are a thing, is that what they're called? And if not, what do they call them? And if they're not a thing, that's what we're having for cocktails in the War Room tomorrow night, because I think I might be into that in a weird kind of way. There were also some fantastic recipes that guys were putting in. You guys are mixing a lot of things with macaroni and cheese. I was asking you last night, like, what kind of weird food concoctions? People were putting Fritos in with American chop suey and a lot of things in with macaroni and cheese. You're eating copious amounts of macaroni and cheese right now. Is that what it's called? A pickleback? Is that what somebody's saying? We might have to have one. But like in a martini glass, like chilled with like a gherkin as a garnish. Like, is that how they get served? I need to know. And if it's something that we need to have that tomorrow night, because I really want to try it. A pickletini, is that what it's called? I might have to have a pickletini tomorrow night, especially if all of Fernandez's amazing sangria is gone. I was able to ration it to some more today. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so because I couldn't find the pickle martini drink in the American Bartender's Handbook that I've been digging in every night, I thought this one was pretty funny, especially if this is what you're fighting about locked up in the house together. The Limp Dick drink is Southern Comfort, Grand Marnier, Amaretto, white cream de mint. Stir the ingredients in a glass and then strain into a cocktail glass and serve. Not as dangerous as the one we were reading about last night, where you wanted me to try and not set myself on fire with, I forget what the hell that thing was called. It was called a Blue Blazer, I think, last night. So there you go. There's your drink recipe for the night, the Limp Dick. I also wanted to show you this in the War Room tonight. The Medal of Honor book doesn't count because I already showed you that. I told you every night that I would show you something different that I have on the shelves here in the War Room. This is a little Tabasco bottle that the guys overseas would get in their MREs. And this is the first one that I ever got back in a package from Iraq. I believe it was in 2003. And it was sand from Iraq that got sent back to me. So over the years, I have collected these little Tabasco bottles. Can you see it? And each one of them has a different branch of the military. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and then there is also National Guard as well. So I have a half a dozen of them. And I hope I don't have to dig into them because we start rationing Tabasco. But I don't know who sent this to me, but I always kept it. So if it was you, thank you very much, but I always saved it. It was the first one I ever got filled with Iraqi sand. So did I get through everything that I wrote down and wanted to talk about? I think, did we toast your birthday? Let's toast again to your birthday. Happy birthday today. You share it with Aretha and Elton John. Have I heard from LB? Steven wants to know. Not since we talked to him the last day we were on the air, although I have heard him on the air with Hillman on EEI since that happened. SpaghettiOs with meatballs and Ritz crackers. See, these weird recipes just keep scrolling through this feed. You guys are kind of ingenious and kind of weird at the same time. I did do some investigation trying to get Mike Shue and I on Facebook Live at the same time. There is a way for me to go live with someone's profile that's watching, but because this is a page as opposed to a profile page, Mike Shue and I, in order to have more than 5,000 friends, you have to get like a profile page. and you can't do two profile pages live at the same time. However, I believe you can do it on Instagram. So I'm going to talk to Mr. Shu, and I'm going to see if maybe he and I could go live on Instagram sometime soon. And so if that's going to happen, I will let you guys know when. But you can find me on Instagram, Instagram.com, Mistress Carrie WAF, and my Twitter handle is @MistressCarrie. But maybe Mike Shu and I will do that. Somebody just asked, do I keep in touch with Opie and Anthony? Yeah, we talked to Anthony, I think the Thursday before we went off the air. Recently, I was supposed to go to New York, and Anthony had invited me down to check out the compound and check out his whole studio and everything. But obviously, with everything that's going on with the coronavirus, I never made it down there. So I'm taking a rain check on that, Anthony. And Opie and I have swapped messages on Twitter. Both of those guys have always been amazing with me. They may have had their differences when they got fired from WAF back in the day, and I've always joked that them getting fired was the best thing that ever happened in my career because I got hired full-time because they got fired. But I would never have gotten hired on the air had I not made a demo tape trying to get hired as their producer. So they've just always been amazing and, just super sweet to me. I was also asking you guys last night, because we talked about like Dimebag Darrell introducing Dimebag to my mom. And somebody asked me to tell an Aerosmith story. So I thought the first Aerosmith story would probably be a good place to start. So I got hired on the air after Opie and Anthony got fired in April of '98 at WAF. And that July, I believe, Steven Tyler and Joe Perry partnered up with Doug Flutie somewhere on the South Shore. And they opened a restaurant together. And I can't remember the name of the restaurant, and I can't remember the name of the town or which town it was in, but I'm sure somebody knows. Feel free to comment on it. And they asked WAF to bring the rock bus down and broadcast live. And I had been on the air doing nights for a couple of months, I think, at the most. And so they said, hey, we're going to send you down there to broadcast. I was doing 7 to midnights. It was in Marshfield, Paula says. Thank you. So they sent the rock bus down there, and it was in Norwell, somebody just said. Thanks, Dave. And so I was so nervous because I was like, oh my God, I have to interview Steven Tyler and Joe Perry from Aerosmith? Like, holy shit. So I got all dressed up, and I did a bunch of research. And, the Mont Bleu in Norwell. Thank you, Jeff Parr. There you go. That was the name of the restaurant. And I did a bunch of research and found out what kind of cigars Joe Perry liked to smoke. So I went to a friend of mine who owned a cigar shop and got some cigars for Joe Perry. And I went, and we were broadcasting live, and there were a ton of people there. And it was Joe Perry, Steven Tyler, and Doug Flutie. And Joe Perry and Steven Tyler came on the rock bus. And this was right around the time that Armageddon had come out. And that whole soundtrack to that movie that stars Steven Tyler's daughter, Liv Tyler, is all Aerosmith songs. And everybody, of course, knows the big single, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. Well, we filmed the interview for Real Rock TV, and so Ian Barrett was there with me. And I was really nervous because I had kind of taken over hosting Real Rock TV when Opie and Anthony had gotten fired, and I had never interviewed a rock star before, and now I'm interviewing Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. And I was freaking out. And so I believe Ian and I drove down together, and we were talking about it on the drive down there. He used to have a Porsche, a red Porsche, like the guy at the end of 16 Candles. Very swanky. Anyway, hi Ian, by the way. So we were talking, and there was another song, another new Aerosmith song that was on that Armageddon soundtrack that you only hear a little bit of. And if you remember the movie, it's the scene where Steve Buscemi goes and gets all the money from the loan shark and takes all the guys to the strip joint. And in the background of that scene, there's a song called What Kind of Love Are You On? And it's a rockin' song, and it's really good. And so I asked Steven Tyler and Joe Perry about that song and whether they were going to release it as a singer. Yeah, Debbie knows the story. She just commented and said Steven Tyler sang it to me. So there I am, live on the air, never interviewed a rock star before. We're filming this for Real Rock TV. I got all dressed up, and I was super nervous, and I asked Steven Tyler about the song, and I'm going to sing it poorly, and I can't sing, so just bear with me. But he started singing it, and he put my name in the lyrics. And he just said, "Carrie so very, you say one thing, then you do another. You got it all wrong, so you blame it on your mother. You can't blame the cat. You can't kick the dog, so you blame the cat. You know it ain't cool, but I like it like that." He said. I screwed the lyric up, but you can Google it and find the lyric. Anyway, I just sat there and was like, oh my God. And all I wanted to say was holy shit, but I was live on the air and we were filming it for Real Rock TV, and I was like, Steven Tyler just sang to me. Oh my God. And I got all flushed, kind of like I get when I drink Fernandez's sangria. But I believe that snippet, it's got fruit in it. It's delicious. I believe that snippet is also up on YouTube, and you can Google it. And I just, like, talk about throwing me to the wolves. Like, just hands behind my back, tied in the deep end, figure out how to swim, you idiot. The first rock star interview you're ever going to do is Steven Tyler and Joe Perry from Aerosmith. So there you go. There's my Aerosmith story. Throwback Max 2 WAF. Bill Santos says, yeah, of course, you're bringing up working at the booby bars. Exactly. Chris Basil wants to know if I still have my Mr. Potato Head. I talked about the Mr. Potato Head I had a couple days ago because I got super sad. If you go back through the videos, it's the one where I'm wearing the bunny suit because I wore the bunny suit because I was sad. And I started unpacking some of the things that came out of my AAF office, and Mr. Potato Head was one of the things I unpacked. So, Allison Raymond wants to know what kind of makeup I use. Is it looking all right, Allison? It's kind of shiny, right? I don't know. It's a bunch of different stuff. Purple? Yes. There you go. John says Real Rock TV was awesome. I know. It was so fun. I think that was one of the things I was talking about listing on my resume that I was talking about earlier today is I believe I hosted 268 episodes of Real Rock TV. I would have to ask Ian. I don't know. Ian, of course, came in the last night we were on the air, and we were all partying and hanging out. And, I just got an alert. Fernandez, my buddy that made the sangria, is now watching. Dude, your sangria is awesome. And the only thing that makes it better is having it in a Muppets cup. So you rock. I love you. You're the bomb.com. Let's see. Billy wants to know about my guns. A girl never tells, Billy. Don't ask a girl's number. It's not polite. But is it like the +5 rule or something? I don't know. It is very vintage. Resume listing for the Max 2 nights. Assisted young women with financing college degrees. Yes! That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. I need help with the descriptions of my WAF career for my resume. You and Mike Shue can go live on YouTube. We're working on it. We're trying to figure it out. We're going to try and get on live together. A lot of people are also still asking about the big gig. I still don't have word, but I know that there's a word coming soon. That's all I know. So, Brandy says, I wish I had some sangria. Let me tell you, you wish you had some of Fernandez's sangria because it kicks ass. So as soon as we find out about what's going on with the big gig, obviously we're going to let you know and go through everything. That's what Dave Taylor's asking. What about Godsmack in April? We're working on it, And I'm not working on it because I'm unemployed. Toast to everybody that got laid off. Michael wants to see my 2 different size feet. Weirdo. I'm not drunk enough to start showing my 2 different size feet. But Corey Taylor has spoken about my little foot many, many times. You can hear his full description on all of the different interviews that we've done over the years. How do we get some of Fernandez's sangria? Well, you know what I had to do to get it? I had to get embedded with his unit in Afghanistan. And then we stayed friends for years. And then he left some in my bushes. That's what I had to do to get it. I'm telling you, it's a whole side career. He could quit his job and just start making curbside pickup of gallons of his sangria because I still don't know what's in it, but God, is it good. Carrie, please don't be Tom Brady and leave the city for another job. Eric, I need a job. So I don't know what's going to happen and where. I just hope it's not in Tampa. I mean, it would be nice to be closer to Tom Brady, but have you been to Tampa? Ooh, a little rough down there. Let's see. See, Lou has 2 different size feet too. Mine are 4 sizes different, Lou. So I don't know how much of a size difference you have, but mine are 4 sizes different. So is the band Littlefoot named after you? No, they had the band long before I was born, darling. I'm not that old. Heidi says, come to Arkansas. I used to work for a staging company in my old roadie days when I was driving trucks back in the day before I was on the air. And that company was based out of Little Rock. So I have made the ride from Massachusetts to Little Rock more times than I can count. Greg Smith says, come to Nashville. There are a lot of rock stars in Nashville now. And I have a friend that lives down there. I swear I don't have the corona. I have a friend that lives down there, and that tornado just missed her house. And they say it's because an old witch put a spell on her house. She has like a really old house that an old witch used to own. And the people in Nashville say that that house got protected by that old witch, and that's why the tornado didn't take it over. Hi, Lisa, if you're watching. Let's see. Come to Savannah. Christy, I have been to Savannah. I'll tell you the Savannah story quick, and then I'll let you go, because I know I talk your ear off every night, but I'm lonely. There's nobody to talk to. I'm just kind of hanging out. So after I graduated from college, I took some of my graduation money, and I went to Savannah on vacation to visit a friend from high school. And he was going to the big art and design school down in Savannah. And I went down there, and this was the height of the Zima days. And I found this bar on River Street. I don't know if it's still there in Savannah called Wet Willie's. And they sold daiquiris that were made with grain alcohol. And I went to Savannah in July, which... Can I just give you some life advice? If you're going to go to Savannah, it's a beautiful old city. It's amazing. The people are great. The food's amazing. July is not an optimal time to visit Savannah because it's literally like being inside someone's mouth. It's that hot and moist. So I'm sitting at Wet Willie's on River Street in Savannah, and it's like noon. And it was so hot that I don't think I've ever been that hot. And I was just sweating because it was like 99% humidity. And I just started downing daiquiris. And the bartender comes over and he's like, you ain't from around here, are you? And I was like, how can you tell? And he was like, because down here, people got respect for grain alcohol. And that's when I realized that I couldn't feel my feet, even the big one. And when I got up to go to the bathroom, I couldn't walk. I was legless, sitting on a bar stool because I was chugging daiquiris that were made with grain alcohol. So that happened to me in Savannah. And then while I was down there, I was walking through all of these squares. It's a beautiful city. And somebody was like, Tom Hanks was just down here and he was filming a movie and all he did was sit on that bench right there. And I didn't know what the movie was. Nobody did. It hadn't come out yet. And I was like, I'm going to go sit on that bench. And then when the movie comes out, I'm going to be like, oh, I sat on that bench. So I went and sat in it. Of course, I didn't have a camera phone to take a picture. Everybody's just saying the word moist. Will you knock it off, your pervs? I love you. Anyway, then Forrest Gump came out, and I was like, holy shit, I sat in that bench, which I heard they removed because so many tourists were taking pictures in it, which was a huge mistake. But I sat in that bench like right after they finished filming the movie. So if you get a chance to go to Savannah, it's amazing. Just don't go in July. That's my only advice to you. All right, I think we're done, right? Are we done? I think so. I don't know. One more cheers. Let's see. Steve wants me to give a big shout out to Martin Yeti Companies and their union drivers for getting that liquor to all of those stores. Nicely done, by the way. You are essential, and we all appreciate all of the people that are working in the liquor stores right now. Trust me. Fruit is delicious. All right, guys. This is how we do it. Every night at 8:30, we meet here. It gives us a chance to kind of decompress. I hope you guys are doing well. I know this is really hard, especially after the announcement today that the kids are going to be out of school until May 4th in Massachusetts. Everybody, please stay safe. Obviously, to all of our healthcare workers and everybody that's out there working right now, keeping everything running, we love you guys. Thank you for everything that you're doing. The rest of us are just trying to stay out of your way. Don't forget, contact your local animal shelter and make a private appointment to go and welcome a new family member into your family. If you are able and you live somewhere near a donation site, please make an appointment to go and donate blood. They are having critical blood shortages because all of the blood drives are getting canceled. But you can't just show up someplace and donate blood. You have to make an appointment. They need to make accommodations, but they need the donors to come in. So please, 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 please make the donations. People are still, obviously not as many, but there are still car accidents. There are still cancer patients. There are still surgeries happening that are emergent, and they need these blood products. And you could help save 3 lives with one blood donation. So please, please do that. To everybody that's out there, I know that the equipment shortages are still there, but I know that so many people have stepped up and gone through rubber gloves and masks that they may have needed for work, but now they're not working and they're donating them to hospitals. There are so many people sewing surgical masks and donating them to places like NICUs that are just so desperate to have this PPE or personal protection equipment just to be able to do their job. So Michael says he's going to have his pickle and his vodka ready for tomorrow night. We're doing that tomorrow night. Pickle juice and vodka martinis. That is going to be our drink tomorrow night. Made my appointment and to donate today, Kimberly says. Yes! Every ounce of blood counts. So please make your appointments. Sorry to bounce around so much, but I'm just going through your comments as they're scrolling up. So blood platelets and plasma, Ashley says. Yes. Michael Willard says, yes, people, please donate blood. Scott Kingston says all of the blood donations are booked near me. Then drive a little further or just keep trying to make an appointment. If they can't take you today, they will take you tomorrow or they'll take you the next day. Trust me, they need the blood. So thank you to everybody that is making those appointments and going out of your way to really try and go and give blood. Lisa says, God bless everybody that's trying to make this situation more tolerable. All of the drivers that have been delivering all of the packages so that everybody kind of gets everything they need while we're all locked in the houses. Cheers to everybody. We're going to get through this. Stay positive. If you're feeling sad and you're feeling isolated, reach out to somebody. I know that there are a lot of people that are super depressed and not handling being home alone. You guys help me every night by having somebody to talk to. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay positive, call a friend if you need to, stay in touch with your families, check on your elderly neighbors. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me every night. I love you.